What's up? It's Musicians Forced Podcast with Harlem Hayfield. I'm Mikey. That's Brandon. Hugh behind the camera. And we're back. We just had a couple shows. We did Gin Mill in Springfield and Jazz Up Front in Bloomington with Joel Gregg.
Joel Gregg and the Filaments, great band.
Oh yeah, Astrofix, shout out to them too. They brought us over to play at Gin Mill. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how you guys felt about how we did there, but I know I was riding the struggle bus all night.
I'll say, and I said it there, that is the worst we've ever played ever. Live.
I guess
ever.
That's probably true.
I think it is.
Well, I mean, the thing is, if you play a bunch of shows, you're going to have one that you consider the best. And if that's the case, you're going to have one you consider the worst.
Everything that could possibly go
that
wrong.
Was probably Gin Mill.
Went wrong at that show. Everybody, I think, was struggling, having trouble. Graham was tossing sticks left and right.
Well, Graham and Keenan ended up being a little late. So they're like pulling up as we're supposed to be sound checking, which is rough.
Chris had a whole fucking slew of problems. His rig
kept going
went out and like he had to stop playing halfway through 2 or 3 songs.
I didn't tell any of you guys this, and I don't know if you noticed or not.
You shit your pants on stage?
No, I didn't. But bubble guts were strong, man. Mm-hmm. Painful indigestion. And then, like, when we get there and we load in, then I'm like, I get the bathroom. I get the bathroom again. I get the bathroom again. And by the time we were on stage, I think I was just dehydrated.
Yeah, it wasn't a good vibe. Like the whole thing, like, it was fine. Like I said, shout out to Astrofix.
The bar was cool as shit.
Yeah, the
Gin Mill was cool.
The venue was cool looking. The stage was cool. They had a good sound guy. Like all of that was great. But like just kind of the vibe was off for us for our show.
Well, and
we stuck around for Astrofix, and they were fantastic. They were great.
Yeah, they did great. One of the things that kind of contributed to us having a rough night was normally when we're playing a smaller venue like that where we're sharing wedges up front, I'm in between you two. Mm-hmm. And so one of those monitors, I need to really crank the keys so I can hear it over the drums and over Chris's loud ass guitar, which inevitably has one of you guys going, damn it, I can't hear myself. Yeah. And so my brother at our show in Chicago gave me a set of in-ears, and I was like, I'm going to try this for the first time. I'm going to plug right into these
in-ears. Was Gin Mill your first time for the in-ears?
No,
at Phyllis's was my first time.
Okay.
But Gin Mill was the first time, like,
on your
trying
own.
It on my own.
Yeah.
And so I remember saying, like, hey, guys, ask for as much or as little as you want in the wedges. I'm not going to bother you with it. I can hear myself just fine. And so for that whole show, I'm like, all right, we're doing pretty good. I heard like some clanks behind me of the drumsticks falling. Like I could feel that
in his ears.
But yeah, I'm feeling
I sound amazing.
I'm like, this is a good set, man. And afterward, everyone's like, that sucked. I'm like, no shit. And they're like, you didn't. I mean, like I knew about the Chris issue, obviously, because he's on his knees, like trying to fix it.
Everybody was like, fuck.
He was in his own little world.
Yeah, Graham's like, I couldn't hear you. And I'm just like,
I couldn't either.
Yeah, I was just like, this is the one time I don't crank it up, and everyone's like, "Where the hell is he?"
We're not used to you having in-ears yet.
I know.
So
I'm gonna either, as long as somebody's using in-ears, I'm either gonna have to get them too, or we're gonna have to do something because like that fucked me up.
Half and half is weird.
Yeah, like it really fucked me up hard, not being able to hear like certain things. I stand right next to you, like I can always hear the keys just like plain as day.
Yeah,
and.
But at Jazz Up Front, I had them, but we were able to get the room mix.
Jazz is such a kind of a confined space too that we were catching your keys out of the mains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, I think we still had a little in the monitor even after that. Probably learned our lesson from Gin Mill.
But I'm getting some growing pains with those things because again, it was my first time. So, I've only used them a few times now. And so the first time when it was just the keys coming through, I would like hang one in one ear. That way I could hear the rest of the band. At Jazz, he was trying to give me the full band. It wasn't working because we didn't have enough time to do sound check. It was like a quick setup. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do one ear anyway. And then at some point of the night, I think he was able to figure it out. And all of a sudden that one ear just started blasting me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like trying to adjust stuff.
Oh, shit.
The next day, it felt like somebody had like stuffed cotton just in one ear.
Tinnitus.
Because that one was getting all the
See,
hot.
dude,
So I was just like,
you know, they have those fucking things that like the app, like you can get it on your phone.
Yeah, so you
like,
can do your own mix.
You do your own mix. Like, and you got to have a front of house guy, of course, for that to work. But like, that's way far. Dude, I'm so old school. I'm used to just like wedges everywhere.
I would jump all over a phone app where I could control my own mix.
I would too.
Are you serious?
No, I'm saying I absolutely.
Graham would have his first time smartphone having asked like, hold on, yeah, I think I got this.
I absolutely want that. What I was trying to say was I'm so old school is that I'm so far away from that.
Yeah.
That I don't even know how to get there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I want
So I
that.
got a phone. What's next?
Yeah. Like I was talking to Mangan about it, and he was telling me all about how he's got this app on his phone for his in-ears, and he just goes straight up to whatever sound guy, wherever town they're in, and like connects to the board, you know, and then he's got the whole mix right there on his phone. Like I would love that.
Yeah.
But then, you know, also you got to be playing places where there's a sound guy and a
that
pro
can support
system.
a system that can support that.
Because we got lucky at Rockabago in Rockford. Because
that dude hanging out afterwards, who's like,
Mhm.
I'll just hang out and run sound. I'm like, dude, you're a godsend.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, their sound guy was just like, I mean, for you guys know it, but for the audience, like the sound guy there was hired by the band that essentially opened. They were the headliners, but they were like, here, you guys go on after us. That way we can leave, you know? And we were like, all right, we'll play late.
yeah.
And their sound guy, he was cool as hell. He was like, well, I kind of want to check you guys out anyway, so I'll help you run the levels. And then once he realized, like, oh, you guys have to plug into the venues, iPad, figure all that shit out, he was like, why don't I just do all of it? And I was like, why don't I dig up some money for you?
Bro, I told that guy right away. I was like, we'll pay you.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he said iPad and it's over there, it's on the wall, it didn't even look like a mixer.
It looked like a fuse box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
with XLRs plugged into it.
It quickly went from, hey, I'll help you check your levels to, I'm going to run your sound.
How much money do you want?
And he was a lifesaver because that night was the night that I didn't have the in-ears yet, but I was just using my amp as a monitor.
And it went out.
And I blew it out. We had sound check. Everything sounded fine. As soon as I hit the keys all the way, blew the speaker. And it was during one of the songs that has it's like the most key heavy song of ours.
Yeah.
So of course we hit it and I'm like slapping the keys and I'm like, oh no.
All you need, wasn't it?
No, it's better off.
Better off.
Oh, was it better
Yeah.
off?
Slappy boy.
Yeah.
And so,
that's right.
And so I'm just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And so he runs up immediately. He's got like a flashlight in his mouth and he's checking stuff, immediately realizes the tube is fucked. And he's like, here, plugs into my DI, gets me into the
You just want to start making it rain on him right away.
Yeah.
Like, how much do you want? Dude?
Yeah. I was getting signal back as we were going into the next song. And I was just like, man, I would have just been like out in the parking lot crying.
Dude, a sound guy, and it sucks because sometimes you're playing a show on a weeknight and you're not making shit really for the show.
Yeah.
But man, if you can afford to get a quality sound guy,
yeah,
worth its weight in gold.
Man, that's hard. That's a subject right there. That's
it's
like
just hard to afford them.
That's the thing. Is like a sound guys. I'm not hating on them for how much they cost. I get it. They got to load all that gear. They know how to run it. Like, and they can make you or break you. You can
a lot of times
make you sound great.
So if something breaks,
it's their gear, and then they're the last ones to leave. You know, you pick up your shit and go, and they're there for another hour and a half.
Yeah.
So like, I get why it costs so much to hire them, but the problem is that especially in the Midwest, I don't know how it is like all over the country, but like at least a lot of places, the states we play in, like if you're playing, like he said, during the week, you're not nobody's offering the money, not even enough to pay that guy.
Not when you're at our level now, like
right.
Starting out, and even to the point where we've made it, we're still not we're going to command, we need $5,000 per member and we'll send you our rider. And
when
we need shrimp and blah, 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 you know?
Yeah. When we're reaching out to a place in Erie, Pennsylvania saying,
right.
Hey, I'm going to be there on a Wednesday. Yeah. Can we play there? It's not like, cool. And now we'll find someone so we can pay them $500. You know?
Yeah.
And that is a fair price.
But we do all right to support 5 or 6 guys on the road and gas and lodging and food.
And
that's
all
all
that like is you know, like you said, there's 5-6 guys on the road. Everybody, you got to pay for everything. And good luck on a Tuesday night anywhere trying to make any money. You just have to
talk to the venue and be like, this much and dinner.
Yeah.
At least get that covered.
That's a lifesaver, getting food included.
God.
Yeah, when they add the food.
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. I just tell them ahead of time, make it to go. I'll take it with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. We're in this limbo area of
is right there, you know, shit like that. So you can hit major markets like with ease.
Yeah.
You know, not with drive 3 hours to this gig, 5 hours to this gig.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Just so much damn corn.
I mean, just getting a damn answer from a venue, you know, when you're first cold calling
a tour. Yeah.
Yeah. Just trying to reach out to someone. Because everyone, I mean, it's just like applying for jobs now. Everyone's just like, absolutely do not come in here or call me. I'll fucking kill you.
Right.
You know, like your application's going in the trash if you come in and say, hey, I'd like a job. They're like, weirdo, go on the internet. Fill out our form.
Too much initiative.
And then after you fill out the form, you're going to have to type all that shit one more time to get it in our thing. And you're like, all right. And it's the same thing with venues. I look up their thing and I'm like, okay, here's their email address. I hit the email. I also send them a Facebook message and say like, hey, check your email. And that way the Facebook Messenger has the video already loaded up for the music videos. Every once in a while I'll call and be like, hey, I'm just checking. And they're like, we have an email for that. I'm like, hey, I know, I'm just calling to let you know there's one in there.
Just trying to connect with another human being.
Yeah.
Sorry I blew up.
My bad. Get back to dropping those tater
tots
in the oil.
Guess I'll go fuck myself. Yeah. Thank you.
But it's been fun. Every once in a while, I'll get somebody who's just like, damn, wait, this is you guys? This video?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, what? And even if they can't get us in, they're like, for the date we're looking for, they're just like, oh, shit. Like the one in Wisconsin before our thing. Like I had a few people in Wisconsin that were just like, oh, damn. Okay. Yeah. We'll pay for you guys. Not now, but later.
So, that's the argument, though. Everybody's like, well, look how much easier it is to connect to each other because of the internet. But is it? Because you got everybody connected, but you also flooded the marketplace, so everybody's connected to everybody.
Yeah. So
you can't afford to have an attention span now.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be missing the next 3 things, taking 5 seconds.
Yeah, and we don't know how many other people are in that inbox.
That's the thing. When they get short with you on the phone, that's because 10 other motherfuckers just called them before you did.
Yeah.
And they're like,
But you know what? Then on the other end of that, like there's places like I won't say the guy's name, but like in St. Louis, big club. I'll say Old Rock House over there. I've talked to the guy that books that place quite a few times now. He's a super nice guy. Like same with Pops and Sajay, right outside of St. Louis. The guy that books over there. It's rare, but they're super nice dudes who return emails and return phone calls, and you don't have to wait on. I mean, like they'll actually send you a message,
right?
Be like, hey man,
sorry it took so long to get back to you.
And so like that stuff exists, and I think what we're after is building our book of people that we meet all across the country like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Where we can get to where we're just dealing with those people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And after a while, you'll have that. Just it is a business of
building
relationships.
Yep. Yeah. It's a contact sport. The more people you contact, the better off you're going to be.
Like Sean Kinney in Peoria, great dude, great venue. That guy,
James, Jazz up front.
Yep, great guy.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, that's what it is. Finding the right people that you want to deal with.
Yeah, I actually look forward to going to those venues, and after being there and everything, I'm like, hell yeah, finally.
Yeah.
And,
shout out to Kenny's just for their pretzel bites.
God. Shout out to Sean Kinney for the pretzel bites.
Yeah.
Because he also keeps the kitchen up till 4 a.m.
That's what's up.
Yeah. To get back to what I originally said, like we had a rough show at Gin Mill, but we slayed at Jazz.
Yeah.
So
and hold on, we slayed at Jazz on a box head PA system.
Yeah.
There's no real like engineering. There's not, you know what I'm saying? Like shout out to the guy. We're gonna have to
shout out to Artist.
We're have to call this episode shout out.
Yeah.
Artist had us sounding amazing. That was the sound guy's name was Artist.
Artist was his name.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he did a great job with that
awesome.
system, but like it's not a huge full
no.
Deal.
What I was getting at though is the mindset from Gin Mill to Jazz. Like
Jazz is
everybody
familiar.
everybody knows we had a rough show. All right, are you shaking it off? Or are you going into the next one with something to prove? What's your mind frame?
I would say that I would say I'm going in with something to prove to myself.
Yeah.
Because Gin Mill was such a train wreck that when I'm going into Jazz a couple weeks ago, I'm going, okay, now I gotta reconcile. I have to.
Right.
I gotta turn this around for the way I performed. I gotta remember and
Prove
show
it to
myself.
prove it to yourself.
Yeah. And so
I said
think
that was a fluke.
I stepped it up. I think myself for myself.
Yeah.
At that show.
Yeah, I get that. It also helped at Jazz. I think it also helped at Jazz having Joel, Greg, and the Filaments open up for us because they slayed. Everybody in the crowd was loving them, and they got the room hot for us.
And Jazz Up Front is a familiar place.
It is.
We always usually have a good show there. We always usually
have
a good show, and the people are cool.
The nice thing about Jazz is it's more of a listening room.
Yeah.
It's everybody sitting at tables just kind of checking you out, vibing, feeling the night and all that shit, and not like playing pool or playing the poker machines or shit like that. People are there to see a show.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's a huge difference.
That's like Iowa, the View in Clinton.
Yeah.
Iowa.
We had a lot of people come up after that Jazz Up Front show. And like people who we didn't know, like there was a good.
Yeah, they'd never seen us in there before.
Yeah,
a lot of new faces.
Yeah, and that was cool to have them go.
Nice.
I saw this online and thought I'd check you out. I'm glad I did. It was like, oh, all right. It's a nice little
if I ever think about it in between songs, I want to start, kind of asking who's the first time seeing us, blah, 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 and start getting a read on that. It's just a good indicator of how you're doing with repeat people in a town.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a bunch, who's seen us before, and all the hands shoot up, I'm like, all right, we're making traction here. These people are coming out multiple times in this area.
Yeah.
Just a good gauge,
Mm-hmm.
It's a good place to play. That place.
It is.
And, I would say we didn't really know what to expect in Springfield at Gin Mill. But
no,
I did know what to expect at Jazz Up Front.
Dan and some of the guys in town are like, you're going to love that place. But they're in like thrash punk type bands.
Oh, yeah.
So you're like, all right, is my genre going to like this place?
Which it's funny because it looks like a place that fits our genre,
dude,
way more than a punk place.
But it was like Stranglers and
Springfield has got, that's a thing over there. Like
they've got a hardcore scene.
I'm saying, but the punk scene over there plays in some places that you would not expect.
Yeah,
that's true.
And that's not the only one. There's a handful of them over there where those guys go and play.
Like one of the breweries.
Yeah, Buzz Bomb is another one.
Yeah.
It's a nice place, but like they do punk shit.
Yeah, I remember when I saw the picture from this place and Billy Fury from Rolling Sixes was just like, oh yeah, we're playing there. I think they played like the week before us, and I was just like,
really?
The Sixes? Like, yeah, like I had just seen them like, tearing it up at the winery.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're at this like fancy gin joint.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I was just like, I did not expect that to be like the fit. Again, not that like, oh, you shouldn't be on that stage. But just like
you expect them at Melody Inn in Indianapolis.
Yeah. But because you go in the Gin Mill and there's no stickers all over the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no nothing. It's a restaurant like Gin Mill. Anyways, what were you saying?
I don't
Going
know.
into Jazz, so you're like determined to prove something to yourself.
Yeah, but I feel like I've talked about Jazz Up Front for 25 minutes now.
Probably have.
You know what I mean? Like,
but you do feel like you successfully made up for the rut.
Well, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like, okay, so on that note, we went into that place and it was totally different from the week before.
So one good show after the fact will remedy one bad show. It's 1 for 1.
No, that bad show's still there. It's
you got something to prove next time too.
That's something that I'm gonna kind of like look squinty eyed at for a while.
Like I see you over there.
I see you over there.
I see you there, Beelzebub.
You stay there. That wasn't right. You stay in the corner.
Right.
Turn around, put your hands down. But like, anyway,
you're good.
It's not that show at Jazz did not fix the show for me at Springfield. It just
Kiss the boo boo.
yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap this one up. In the meantime, this has been Musicians Forced to Podcast. We're Harlem Hayfield, half of Harlem Hayfield. Like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends. See you next time.
I'm not
Peace.
doing it. Smash.
There you go.